Blessings and blessings. Find your way to center. Find your way to the center is the title of this transmission. The center is dynamic. It's always moving, shifting, and changing. When we are off center, we are easily controlled by the wind. And when I say wind, I mean the weather of emotions that come from social media, right? There's a lot of conversation about don't let the media. Well, what about social media? Social media will have you thinking that certain people walk on water and other ones don't. Social media will have you, thinking about the Pizzagate guy who drove miles away with a semi-automatic in his trunk to go kill and save all the kids in the basement. Well, the pizza place didn't have a basement. Social media gassed him up and got him all emotional, and he went to go kill some people, to be some type of vigilante. Now, do I want to save the children? Abso-freaking-lutely. But do I think that it's necessary that people should be pulling out things and going places? No. So we find our way back to center. We breathe. We allow ourselves to find that point deep inside of our bodies, deep inside of our consciousness that isn't swayed by the weather. There's a lot of energy, a lot of movement, a lot of stuff happening in the world, and it can be tough. It can be tough to decide what's true and what's not. And I challenge you to continuously play with the words both and. Just ask yourself, what if both are true? Or what if none are true? As I shared with you guys before, for me, I get my answers, I get my questions answered and my answers questioned. And the reason for that, right? So if I watch a conspiracy theory movie and I take that at face value, then for me, I'm in. I'm done. It's all this. These are the people who are doing it, and somehow I'm privy to this one movie that makes me the person who understands everything. But then I stop and I say, well, let me step into the third position, right? So there's three positions. First position, Preston, seeing and having his own conversations. And the own conversation is the inner critic, the inner roommate that runs the show most of the time, unless I bring cognitive awareness and disassociate from that person, right? So first person. Second person is I step into the moccasins of somebody else. I step into someone else's shoes and I ask myself, can I view this differently, right? Now, third, this is where it gets gangster, where I pull back and I look from here and I say, oh, okay, so when I was in first position, I thought I knew everything. And I was so clear who the devil was, and I was clear that it was the Democrats, and it's 20 million Democrats. Every Democrat is having sex with children. Every. It's the left. It's the radical left, right? This is, I'm being looped into something while simultaneously saying that I understand, right? So if I'm looped into this idea that I can just throw 20 million people into a space and say that that's what it is, I am being played and puppeted by the inner critic and the inner roommate and the things that I'm bringing into my conscious awareness. Now, if I step into space number 2, which is step into someone else's shoes and say, okay, well, let me see. Do I know any people who think I would consider to be the radical left, right? This is the words that the current president and all of these people are using to turn the conscious community and everybody else against people who have views like Women should be able to choose what they do with their bodies, right? But it's the radical left trying to take over and steal God from everybody, and well, got to get back to the church, right? So if I'm in this position, maybe I say, okay, do I know anybody who has what we would call liberal views? Do I think they're having sex with children? Do I think they're sex trafficking? Do I think they're anarchists and fascists and they're paid by George Soros? Is everybody paid by George Soros? Are you fucking stupid? Okay, that was that was too far. I'm gonna come back. That was me jumping back into number one, okay? And I'm not saying that I'm outside of this. I do this same work. I have to do it for myself all the time. So I get really upset with this whole idea that some Jewish dude is running everybody's lives, right? This is how we get put into this stupid ass box. Black Lives Matter isn't a terrorist group. Black Lives Matter. No, we've been saying Black Lives Matter for 450 years. You just haven't been listening. And because it's shaking up your foundation and the thing that makes you uncomfortable, you want to push us into a little box. So I'm going to do this again. Then we jump in the third position and we ask ourselves, what's potentially happening here? Well, and let's look like facts. Like if a video camera caught it, what would it catch? Well, it would catch some humans. Let's say some humans wear red and they call themselves right-winged and Republican. And some humans wear blue and they call themselves Democrat or liberals or on the left. And all of those humans are pointing fingers towards each other saying, you're the wrong one. All of those humans care about their kids and their family. Some of them are specifically care about their kids, their family, their neighborhood, and their country, while others care about the world and humanity as a whole. I never say God bless America, because it's God bless everything. And God is always blessing everything, whether we're aware of it or not. But when we pull all the way back and we just look, what we'll find is a bunch of humans who want, look at this hair. What do you want? Hair. What is it that you want? Hair. A bunch of humans who want to experience more love, more compassion. A bunch of humans who really, I'm letting this little girl go by so I can take my mask off. Hola. Buenos dias. A bunch of people who care about themselves and humanity, and they want the best for the world. When I'm in third position, that's what I know, right? Bob Marley said, preacher man, don't tell me heaven is under the earth. I know you don't know what life is really worth. You see all that glitters and gold, half the story ain't never been told. And now we see the light. Stand up for your rights. Get up, stand up. Stand up for your rights. Like, hear me. This dude was channeling the same thing that Bob was talking about in the 70s and the 80s. We are talking about right now. And no, I get that some of you guys are in these privileged bubbles and all you want to do is go back to normalcy. But as Jesus said, what you do to the least of my brothers, you also do to me. So while it may seem like you're well, none of us are until all of us are. We're in this thing together, and we have an opportunity to grow, to stretch, to learn, to say 100 years from now that this was the time that changed everything, that transformed everything. For our great grandkids to talk about us and say they were on the brink of literally slaughtering each other. And they came back to their hearts. They came back to the center. They were no longer swayed by the weather and the ideas and the identities of left and right. They began to check in with the truth of their being, which is love. Yeah. That feels about right. Blessings and blessings, guys. I'm going to share this. I'm going to upload it on my channel. If it resonates, please just drop a comment the moment I put it in, and maybe tag somebody or hit the share button on your story so that it gets a little further, right? This is what we're doing. Yeah. And remember, it's not what you pray for, it's what you pray from. Energetically, what we pray from is the thing that we're most creating. And so I just want to remind you that when we pray from love, we pray from abundance, the only thing that can come back to us is more abundance. Peace and blessings, guys. Thank you.